Weapon number 1 is the crossbow. This thing is an absolute monster against the Illuminates, no matter how you look at it, by the way. And there is one more tip that I'm going to tell you about this weapon that will even make it 10 times better. But first, let's talk about the weapon itself. The radius of explosion is very big, which means that if you're trying to clean out the zombies, that's an easy peasy job. You just need to land it on the ground. You don't even need a direct hit, and you'll see a bunch of zombies just absolutely get annihilated every single time. On top of that, if you're landing your shots, and I mean direct shots against the melee enemies or the flying enemies, they get absolutely destroyed as well. Also keep in mind that it can take care of the spaceships as well, which is a huge thing if you think about it, because it's just the primary weapon. But not only that, if the big ass tripods are pushing you, you can take them out as well. First, obviously, you shoot the shield, you take it out, and then you just go for the joints. You're not even gonna need as many shots. If you're landing your shots, it's gonna take anywhere from 5 to 7 shots, and it's a primary, guys, that can take down one of the biggest enemies that the Illuminates have to offer, which is kind of cool, and which is something that not many weapons out there can do. But you can make this even better if you combine it with the new armor passive with a better reload and ammunition and so on. This thing goes to the next level. On top of all of this, it's one-handed, and you can combine this with the new shield. And at that point, you kind of feel like Terminator, to be honest. You're just walking around the map and absolutely deleting everything. You're blocking so much damage thanks to the shield from the long-ranged enemies, but yet destroying everything in front of you. So yeah, definitely one of my top favorite weapons currently against the Illuminates. And speaking of my favorite things, let's take a look at Instant Gaming, because this right here is an amazing website. If you're trying to pick up your favorite games for the lowest prices, this is going to be the website for you. All you got to do is click on the link in the description. It will take you to the website where you're going to type the name of the game that you're looking for. Christmas and New Year's is right around the corner, so if you're looking for new games, this is the perfect time. And remember, you can also purchase gift cards as well. The review score speaks for itself, 4.7 out of 5. And this is a website that I myself and my friends use as well every time we're trying to pick up a new game. Next on the list is the sickle. This is going to be one of your best tools against the Illuminates if you're looking for a very consistent primary weapon that feels like an AR. Fire rate is great. The weapon in general feels extremely good. And one of the best things about the sickle versus the Illuminates is that with Illuminates, we get a lot of zombies running at us all the time. Well, the sickle can one-tap them to the head, and in general, if they're like swarming you, you can just delete them very easily with the weapon. And remember, you don't have to think about ammo economy. That is a huge plus, because when you have so many zombies coming at you literally from every side, having a primary weapon where you don't have to think about, running out of ammo is a huge plus. On top of that, it doesn't just deal with the zombies, but you can also easily take out the melee enemies, the flying enemies. It just works across the board. Even if you're thinking about overseers, you shouldn't have much problems there. So it is going to be one of the top picks, especially and specifically if you're looking for a weapon that feels like an AR, but simply does everything better. And it also has a really cool scope on top of it. And this is one of those weapons that feels good on both controller and mouse and keyboard as well, because there are definitely some weapons that don't feel as good, for example, on controller, but this one is an exception. It feels good across the board. Next weapon we're going to be talking about is the one and only Purifier. This thing, you guys already know, is one of my favorite weapons in the game against the automatons, even against the bugs, and now against the Illuminates as well. There's a few reasons for that. What I love to do with this weapon is consistently use the charged shots. The charged shots absolutely decimate the zombies. It can 2-tap the flying enemies, the melee enemies. Doesn't even matter, right? Like if you see some of the enemies put up their shield, shoot the ground to the side. Don't go directly for the shield. It's even gonna do a better job. If you're getting swarmed by a lot of zombies, another cool thing about this weapon is the ease of use. Because let's say you missed your shot and for some reason you hit the ground and not directly at the zombies, well, the explosion radius is gonna get the job done regardless. Ammo economy also is very nice, simply because of the fact that you can consistently use your fully charged up shots. And it's not like you're killing one zombie with every shot, right? Like you're just destroying tons of them. So no matter how many enemies are really coming at you, you are going to be getting the job done. The one thing that it cannot do that the crossbow could is take care of the spaceships. But apart from that, it's incredible. And I do think that the ammo economy is even better than the crossbow, and in many ways it just plays better when it comes to handling of the weapon itself. Okay, now let's talk about the blitzer. Now you guys know when I'm trying to do my solo runs against the bugs, this is the weapon that I pick up all the time. You guys already know this, one of my favorites. However, it was very surprising how good it was against the Illuminates as well, right? Because not only does it take care of the zombies when they're rushing you, because it does like stagger and stun and all that kind of stuff, but remember guys, it hits a few of them at the same time as well. Now where it really shines is the melee enemies and the flying enemies as well, because you can literally just stun lock them, which makes it a very cool pick and a very safe pick if you're kind of struggling with survivability, for example. And it pairs really well with a lot of the support weapons in the game, with the machine guns, the arc thrower, the flamethrower. All those options are phenomenal for the blitzer. It's not going to shine against the tripods, obviously, because it just lacks the damage. It lacks the range, first of all, and you know the damage is not going to be crazy when it comes to the tripods. However, apart from that, you shouldn't struggle with any other enemy at all, and it's going to be a super easy run if you do pick up this weapon. Once again, you got to combine it with a right support weapon though. You can't just pick up the blitzer and not care about the support weapon, then, because in that case you're gonna lack range and you're only gonna have a weapon that, you know, deals with enemies at close range. So as long as you implement it correctly into the build, blitzer will get the job done as well. And finally, let's talk about the plasma punisher. Initially, when I tried this weapon, I was like, I don't know, like I didn't quite like it as much against the Illuminates. And because I absolutely love it against the bugs, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it another try. So we hopped in, I tested the weapon again, and yeah, it's pretty good. It is a little bit harder to use because it does have the curve, so you do need to get used to the weapon. Not necessarily when it comes to zombies, because like they're always bunched up. So as long as you're hitting one of them, the explosion happens and you're taking out a bunch of them, mostly because of the flying enemies. That's where you gotta really get used to the weapon itself. But once you do that, that really doesn't become an issue as much, and it doesn't need as many shots. Because the fire rate is pretty high, you'll be taking out the flying enemies in 3 to 4 shots, depending of how good the shots land. And yeah, that's gonna be my top 5 primary weapons against the Illuminates. I've been playing a lot against them, and I gotta say that this faction in general has easily become my favorite faction to play against. So finding my favorite weapons was something that I was really excited about, right? And yes, I've tested some of the other weapons, but honestly, after using these 5, I don't really have a reason to use the other ones at the moment. They just get the job done better than everything else that I've tried. So at this point, I think this is more than enough options for me personally to create some really fun and interesting builds. And that is precisely what I'm going to be doing. We're going to be uploading a lot of build videos, gameplay videos, guides, and so on. So if you guys did enjoy this one, and only if you did, slap the like, sub to the channel. As always, stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you all on the next one.
Let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. I'm taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't here to make friends. Yeah. I ain't never slowing down, keep on going till I'm back.